The Amish composting method that's ready in 14 days. Why don't they teach this? When people think of the Amish, they imagine horse-drawn buggies, hand tools, and a slow, deliberate way of life. But what most folks don't realize is that behind this simplicity is an incredibly efficient soil system. One that can turn raw waste into rich finished compost in as little as 14 days. So, why isn't this method taught in gardening books or pushed by big agriculture? Well, it's because it doesn't rely on chemicals, machines, or products you need to buy. It relies on biology, heat, balance, and discipline. Let's break it down. What makes the Amish composting method different? Most backyard compost piles take 3 to 12 months. They're passive. You just dump scraps, wait, and hope microbes do the rest. The Amish method is active composting, often called accelerated hot composting. The goal is to force microbial activity into overdrive, creating internal temperatures of 55 to 70 degrees Celsius, or 131 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. At this heat, weed seeds die, pathogens are destroyed, organic matter breaks down rapidly, nutrients are stabilized instead of lost. The result? Compost that smells earthy, not rotten, and is ready in 2 weeks. The core principle: perfect balance. The entire system revolves around one ratio, 30 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. The Amish don't just guess this, they layer it precisely. Carbon, or browns, includes dry straw or hay, shredded corn stalks, dry leaves, and sawdust, though only a little. Nitrogen, or greens, comes from fresh animal manure, green grass clippings, kitchen scraps, and legume plants. Too much nitrogen and the pile smells. Too much carbon and the pile stalls. They balance it from day one, which is exactly why it heats immediately. Pile size. It's gotta be bigger than you think. One of the biggest composting mistakes is making piles too small. The Amish, well, we build piles that are at least 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters, or, a 5-foot cube. Why do we do that? Because heat escapes from small piles. Large piles, on the other hand, trap microbial heat, creating this self-sustaining furnace inside. This size is really critical if you want to hit that 14-day mark. Moisture. Let's talk about the squeezed sponge rule. Water is added intentionally, not just tossed in casually. You want to moisten the pile until it feels like a wrung-out sponge. Damp, but never dripping. If it gets too dry, the microbes just go to sleep. Too wet, and oxygen is pushed out, which causes rot. Amish compost piles are checked daily, especially when the weather turns hot. The secret weapon: relentless turning. This is honestly the part most people skip. The pile is turned every 2 to 3 days. Each turn injects oxygen, redistributes heat, and exposes new material to the microbes. By day 3 or 4, you'll notice steam rising when the pile is opened. That steam is your proof of success. Most modern gardeners, well, they don't turn piles this often because it's work. The Amish do, because for us, soil is survival. Alright, so here's what the 14 days actually look like. On day 1 and 2, your pile heats up real quick. Internal temperatures climb above 50 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that fast. By day 3 through 5, it's time for the first major turn. You'll notice the smell changes from manure to something more like sweet earth. Then, from day 6 to 9, you hit peak microbial activity, with maximum breakdown of fibers happening right in the heart of the pile. Day 10 to 12, you'll be doing the second and third turns, and the material darkens up nice and uniform. Finally, by day 13 and 14, the pile cools a bit. What you've got now is crumbly, dark, finished compost. No waiting, no additives, no machines, just pure compost, ready to use. So, why isn't this taught everywhere? Well, honestly, because it just doesn't scale well if you're trying to sell products. There's no need for compost activators, no fancy tumblers, no subscriptions, and definitely no chemicals. This method is about teaching folks to control biology, not just buy a solution. And, Amish knowledge has always spread person to person, not through books or flashy marketing. It's passed on because someone needs to grow food, not because someone wants more views. Now, Why is this compost so much better? The 14-day Amish compost has higher microbial diversity, releases nutrients slowly, improves soil structure right away, boosts water retention, and, get this, increases yields in your very first season. Gardeners often report anywhere from 20 to 40% higher productivity after making the switch. That's a pretty big jump for just 2 weeks of effort. So, can anyone do this today? Absolutely, but only if you're willing to build big piles, turn them often, keep an eye on moisture, and respect your ratios. This isn't lazy composting, it's intentional soil engineering. And honestly, once you try it, going back to slow composting just feels impossible.